Good afternoon, traders. It is 12:03 p.m. Chicago time on Thursday, the 14th of January, 2021. Thanks for joining me on this special event that's focused on what does it take to trade right. This is offered by Convergent Trading, which I've helped found. I want to remind everyone here that derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Looks like my other organizer's not in here yet, but hope you're all doing well. Can you give me a mic check real quick just to make sure I'm not too loud, too low? These mic settings in Windows are funny in that no matter what you do, it auto adjusts. Anyway, thanks for being here. Let's kick right into it. What does it take to trade right? What we will cover today, we're just going to go over the typical versus professional trader's journey and outcome. Really, the reason I wanted you in here and we're looking for you to be in here is to push not only Convergent's existing members who are here, but anybody else that wants to make this a year that is different than prior years in terms of their trading journey. So we're going to start out by talking about the typical versus professional trader's journey and outcomes, and we'll highlight the stark contrasts that are in place typically that contribute to a professional trader's success versus a typical trader's success. We'll talk about the key components to trade as a professional. We'll talk about the Trade Right initiative, what it is, why are we doing this, why do we have this webinar going, and then we'll talk about the common resistance to doing the work. Why does it take so much and so long, and why so many excuses as to why traders don't do this? I'm going to give you a little bit of background just as a segue. In case you don't know me, my background is in professional prop trading. I started out as an equities trader, high volume equities trader, moved to Chicago and started trading futures in the board of trade in a prop environment, and have been in that sort of environment ever since. So my background, I also ran a prop shop. My background is really focused on professional, developing, backing, mentoring, not mentoring as like the online mentoring that we see now, but actually backing and mentoring my traders through the process. So I've seen this process quite a few times. I've gone through it myself, just going through rough patches, realigning with the market, which happens ever so often as the market regime changes. And this is what it's about. Okay, so that's my background. This is the level that I'm speaking from. I'm not someone who learned from a distance online. I was immersed in the process throughout my career. And then we're going to talk about the common resistance, and we're going to talk about making 2021 the year when you finally can commit to trading right. Let me eliminate this. When you finally commit to trade right. So let's take a look at the typical versus successful trader's journey and outcomes. As far as questions, I don't have someone here to come in and ask the questions and interrupt me. So I'm going to leave those to the end. You might have to remind me of what I said, and so on. There you are. Let's get you going here. Okay. Yoda, you with us? Yoda.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't receive an organizer link, and I just realized that now, so.
Okay. I just asked, and they said they had sent it through. I don't know. But in any case, I went through the beginning here. So I want to dive right in and get into the material here. Let's first describe what a professional trader is. In my view, a professional trader is someone who is doing this not only as a primary source of income, or as a it doesn't even have to be about income, as their 100% focus. This is what I do. I wake up every morning, I get dressed, I go to work. Where's work? It's some trading environment, or it's something to do with trading, and I have training in doing so. So I can call myself a doctor by sitting at home and reading WebMD all day long, and doing procedures on frogs all day long, but with some training, with some instruction, and having this be a committed process that follows specific steps, that makes me a professional versus somebody who's doing this on their own. Okay. So the typical versus successful trader's journey and outcomes. Typical trader comes into contact with trading and resolves to learn. This is done through either someone we know, an acquaintance, or we see something online, or on TikTok, and we see all these people making crazy money on options, and so on and so forth. Whatever it is, you came into contact with trading and the markets. The typical trader buys books, attends webinars, and follows others to see what they need to do. Typical trader then opens an account and puts on that first trade. Oftentimes that first trade is a winner, and that's a curse, actually. There's they win a tick, or they make a couple of ticks, and it's like, wow, all this dopamine comes flooding into their brain, and they're like, this is what I want to dedicate my life to. And then as the odds play out, the lack of edge plays out, there eventually outsized losses come into play, and the trader starts to hunt for an edge. They start to figure out that I need an edge. I need a reason to trade. And as part of that process is to try one approach, then another approach, and get one booked and look for a market. I'll trade the Forex today, I'll try crypto tomorrow, I'll do futures, then I'll do futures and crude oil, then I'll go to NASDAQ, I'll go to the S&P, then maybe I'll do corn. I heard cocoa's really good. And then you'll follow person after person after person, and this cycle starts to take up a lot of time, right? It takes years to really find and refine one thing, let alone resetting every time a streak of losses takes place. The trader then refunds their account, meaning they add more money into their account and trades once again, because now they've got better charts, a better process, and they believe that they may have it cracked, right? So what results in that in the long run, not right away maybe, but in the long run, one way or another, they're going to get into a trade, they're going to commit to that trade, and they're going to see more outsized losses. The actual problem has not been solved or addressed. The next process is, you got it. The trader will focus on getting that money back. How do I put $5,000 in, I'm down to $1,500. How do I get my $3,500 back? What do I need to do to get back to $5,000? That's all I want, is to get to $5,000. It's about the money. It's about the dollars. How can I participate without losing? And then you get this, because this process is really volatile. There are highs, there, epiphanies, euphoria, I've figured this out, then the results don't come in, or the results are pretty poor, and there's this up and down process, and that results in a lot of stress and emotional exhaustion, which then leads to low confidence. As low confidence comes in, we've already committed so much time, the typical trader's committed so much time, money, and have told everybody in the world, and whatever, their spouse or whatever, that they're going to be great. They start to believe that there are external forces preventing him or her from getting there. This game is rigged. Everybody's a liar. Nobody trades. Anybody who talks about trading is full of crap. They're not really a trader. This is a rigged game. The only people making money in the business are those selling things. That's where we end up. This is a very low confidence point of view. And then eventually, over time, if they stick around, they start to move towards a reasonable and sustainable approach. Generally, people don't come into contact with me until they've reached that low rung, this lowest step here, where they've seen what's out there. They know that it's simple but not easy, and they just now want to take it to the next level. This is why I created Convergent Trading, okay? So let's look at a typical professional trader's approach. There are many different ways, but this is a typical professional trader's approach. They, just like everybody else, they become interested in trading. Either they're in school and finance and somebody from the trading, from the CME or something like that, or maybe they have a trading floor like University of Illinois in Chicago here has. They come into contact with trading and then they seek a job in trading. So they're looking for an institutional or professional venue to practice in. They follow the same process. They start with the books, the Disciplined Trader and all those classics, Market Wizards, and they do the studying and all that stuff. But they're following, because they're in a professional venue, an institutional prop or professional venue. There's generally focus trading, because there's an incentive both on the trader side and the employer side to get you to efficiently get through the process of gaining the knowledge, setting up, and trading profitably, right? So that's what I did in prop. I had a process in place, and people have to come in and they follow this process, and the goal is to get them to the point where they can log in and then do all the drills and stuff, and then prove that they can go live, and then go live as soon as possible. And as soon as they do, and as soon as we see a positive expectancy, my job then becomes about pushing that trader to increase their size as much as possible within proper risk control and parameters. So the next step, after all the homework and training and all that, the professional trader creates a plan to trade right. We want to remember this term, trade right, as opposed to just trading, and submits it for review, right? So some managing director, some head trader, somebody is looking at this to make sure that, although the idea is not to cookie cutter, that to have every trader be exactly the same, the goal is for the plan to have reasonable expectations and reasonable ideas within it, right? The head trader is not going to sit here and backtest your trading plan for you to make sure it has an edge. That's for you to find out. But we want to make sure that the components are there. Risk controls are set, right? So you send the risk controls to the trade manager, which means, here's the market I'll trade. Here's the maximum size I'll trade. This is my maximum daily loss. This is the max loss I can incur on my account before I'm basically fired, that sort of stuff. Risk controls are set and adhered to. With that comes accountability. Now we have accountability. This is a big piece, okay? Then the process continues, and the trader continues to refine the approach and set goals for improvement. So you do stuff, you review it, you improve on it, you set goals, and so on and so forth. For that, the trader provides a daily journal and log of what has taken place. The trader focuses on deliberate practice to quash errors. Errors are the biggest cost. And so it is important to eliminate errors. Most traders cannot identify or don't know how to identify or what an error even is to even be concerned about it. Professional traders do. This is a lot like a golfer who's got a professional trainer, and a professional trainer is there to notice little mistakes in the movement, in the swing, in the decision process, in the club selection, whatever. Want to eliminate those, because that's what brings us to as a refined an edge as possible. And then, as part of following all of this, by the way, all of these pieces that you see above, There's emotional capital that's being built. There's more confidence that comes in. With more confidence, our mind becomes much more clear. It's like looking at the bottom of a pond through turbulent water, or letting the water settle to the point that it becomes like glass and you can see right through it. This is the process. For most traders, when we veer away from our process and we let our down our guard and our risk control is not in place, what happens is we are splashing in that water. It just becomes really difficult to be emotionally aware and emotionally centered enough to see the market for what it is. You would be shocked at how differently our minds process the market information when we are confident and calm versus when we are have low confidence and are turbulent. I'm sure you've looked back at a chart after a bad day, and well, let me ask, who here has looked at a chart after a bad day and smacked their forehead and asked themselves, how could I not have seen that trend? What an idiot. What an idiot. Why didn't you see the trend? Did you change your chart settings so that now you've got a different, hey, I moved to a point and figure chart after the market was closed, and now I see, no, it's the same chart. It's the same chart. And so that tells you, that is proof to anybody that's experienced that. That is firsthand proof that says that our mind is not the same when we're in the action versus after or before. This is why we plan the trade before, and our goal is to just monitor market behavior and look at what the market shows up with, and then we trade our plan in alignment with the market. That's what I do with everybody that's attended the Trader Bite at 9 a.m. Eastern every morning live on YouTube. So this is the intent here. The intent here is as we gain more confidence, that chart that you had an epiphany looking at after the market was closed will be the same as the chart you're looking at when you're trading. The mind is just much more clear, okay? And then from there, it is about refining the process. Refines process, grows size, and gets returns, okay? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the whole process, the work to be done, and then for us to execute on that work, monitor it, come back, be accountable, create plans for what happens next, set goals, go out, execute, monitor, come back, so on and so forth, and it just repeats itself. In the professional trader side, based on what you see here on this table, where does it talk about money or dollars? Does it talk, are dollars listed anywhere here? Are dollars a part of this process of becoming a professional trader? Do you see it? On the left side, we're focusing on losses. We're talking about outsized losses. We're looking at recovering from losses. Dollars. This is typical. And it's hard to convince people, or it's hard to get people to look past the dollars and focus on trading right. Just trade right. The dollars will hopefully come as a result of the edge. Does everybody follow this? Are there any questions about this? Do you connect with this? Is some of what you do on the professional side and some of what you do on a typical trader side? Because most people that I've come into contact with, having shown up online 12 years ago, most people fall in the left category. And they run out of money or time before they start to realize what needs to happen on the right side. This is what trading right's all about, okay? Moving on. A
Before you
typical
move on,
versus, yeah.
sorry, someone has raised a concerned that you may not have read the disclaimer, and I wasn't here, so I don't know, but I just.
I did. I
Okay.
appreciate you. Appreciate you watching my back, though.
Yeah, no problem. No, it was one of the traders that brought it up. Everybody's agreeing with you. They associate with being not a professional trader and seeing the charts differently. So you're speaking to everybody here. They all can relate.
Good. The process is pretty much the same for everybody. It's just a question of how stubborn we are or how committed we are. These are the big things. So the bottom line, having looked at that table, the bottom line is this. I can get on here and talk to you about this new awesome indicator. I can get on here and talk to you about a new awesome piece of software. I can talk about a new approach to trading, a setup. I'm going to tell you definitively, based on my experience, none of that matters. This is the sort of stuff, what we're discussing here is the stuff that makes the most difference, okay? We ultimately have to have an edge. We ultimately have to have a setup. We ultimately have to have an approach to the market that makes money, but you can have it all you want. And this is documented in many, many books, including in Market Wizards, where Richard Dennis says, if I took out a full page ad on a Wall Street Journal to detail how I trade, none of the traders who see it will execute on it, even though I'm making money on that particular approach. This is exactly right. So the typical trader's focus is on education. Because of the way we were brought up and we were educated, we believe that the more education, the better the outcome. Not so in trading. We focus on education. The second focus is on avoiding losses. That is not a concern for a professional trader. We're not trying to avoid losses. Losses are just a part of the process. Our goal is to avoid losses that are outsized compared to our wins. Our focus is more on executing the process, executing the plan, which a lot of people have a hard time doing. So the bottom line is the typical trader focuses on returns and outcomes. The professional trader focuses on doing the work and the process to trade right. It's process-oriented, work-oriented versus return-oriented. That's why you might come in and today you might trade one time and make some money and say, okay, I made $100 for the day. I just want to be green. I'm done. And then on other days, you might not trade at all. On a third day, you might not feel like sticking to your plan, so we may take a big loss. None of those have anything to do with the market, most likely. It has to do with how we feel and so on. Well, that's not a process. That's just random trading from the gut type of thing. Trading from the gut does not help. The key components to trading as a professional. So what do you get when you go through a professional trader's approach, whether it's institutional at a hedge fund where you're going to be given a book to trade or some capital to trade, or you're at a trade desk, even if you're at a trade desk hedging risk, or more specifically to most people here as a prop trader, somebody who is trading someone else's money professionally full time. That's more of my background, and that's more what I can speak to. So when what are the edges there that are available to a professional? Most people think it's information, huge informational edge. You know, I have my Bloomberg, I've got my analysts, and I've got access to IPO information, I've got access to mergers, I've got access to all this stuff. That's not really, maybe that's true, but for prop traders, you don't get access to any of that. You get access to the market and that's it, to capital and the market and some risk parameters, and that's it. The real benefit to trading as a professional is the value of a strong community. So being in a community brings a huge edge with it. The greatest edge provided by an institutional or prop setting boils down to access to other traders. Very, very important, okay? And this is through a tenure process or a process where you're coming in, day out, and you have this long-term relationship, you start to understand how other people are trading. Where are they on the leaderboard? Are they strong? Are they you start to actually learn and understand what kind of day is a good day for the person sitting next to you versus a bad day, just by communicating and understanding their process. In these organizations, other traders go through the same processes you must go through, so support's available, and there are those who will empathize and or share their approach to refine your process. This is a big piece. It is incredible how undervalued community is. If I could tell you, hey, you can be a part of a community that is trained, has foundational knowledge, they understand the market's foundation, not necessarily trading the same way you do. They understand the terminology, they understand the process and what it takes, and you get to use this group of people to support yourself, to ask questions, to complain, to tell them how difficult the market has been or whatever it is. This is a big piece of the puzzle. This community helps you to stay motivated to push yourself and to do better. You finish the day, for example, having made $1,000 in the morning, and then you walk away with just covering commissions for the day. You end up giving all of that money back. As an individual trading by yourself and not accountable, not sharing that information with anybody else, that is okay. That's something you'll accept. But if you know that that same day, the person who made $1,000 on the same move, trading the same product you did, ended up finishing up $6,000 for the day, you better believe that you're going to stay late, you're going to look at your charts, and you're going to do your homework, and you're going to figure out why the hell this person made $6 or $9 or $12 or $15,000 while you were okay being up 1,000 and finishing slightly green on the day, or $1 up, or flat. Being part of a community and being accountable to others creates that push that everyone needs. Everyone needs this in order to improve. The other component that is important for professional trading is trading knowledge. There's a baseline of information that is needed to trade properly. And I'm not talking about you need to do setup number 1 and 2 and C and D and E and F. It's not about setups. It's about understanding how the market operates. How do you know, if you're trading equities, for example, how do you know what the process is of finding the movers of the day? How do you know the process of finding the big trade of the day? Do you know how to do that? Or are you relying on a third-party service or YouTube channel to tell you to look at PLTR today or whatever? You know, how do you know that you should be trading the NASDAQ right now versus the S&P versus crude versus gold? You need a foundation of knowledge and an understanding, a broad understanding of the market, the auction itself, to figure that out. There's a requirement to attain a level of understanding and respect for risk. We could talk about risk till I'm blue in the face. Most people want to go to sleep when I talk about risk, but there's a strong respect for risk and sizing positions so that the return is better than the risk taken for each trade, putting risk in its place, understanding the role of losses. Losses are just the cost of discovering whether or not your decision to trade is in alignment with the market, period. It's not a personal attack on you. The typical trader does not recognize this. They see this loss equals bad. Loss does not equal bad. Loss is just the requirement to eat. Think like a hunter. Think in the Stone Age. You're leaving the safety of your cave. You've got your fire there. You've got your tribe or whatever, and you're protected. You know, there's defense there. A tiger can't sneak up on you because you know your environment. So as a human being, I have to step out of that cave to go out and chase some big animal, big mammal around to kill it so that I can eat, but I'm already hungry. So imagine the loss that that caveman or woman has to take in order to attain that next meal. That's what a loss is. It's simply the cost. There is a cost to having an opportunity at that gain. That's what that is. And so put losses in perspective. Understand that they're just part of the process. I have to get up, take the risk, go lay a trap, and stab an animal who might kill me so that I can eat. Those are losses in trading. I know it's a very dramatic and over embellished analogy, but it's kind of the same. Okay, so there's an understanding and respect for risk. There's a requirement to understand and be able to quantify your market. You must be able to independently quantify your market. What does that mean? The market stat reports, understanding the nature of the market. What is normal for my market? How much range should I expect? How much risk per unit of range do I take to stay in play in this market? What are key components that affect this market? What are key economic indicators that affect this market? Things like that. You know, how much of a certain stock moves this market, or how much play does Saudi Arabia or Russia have into the price of crude oil, my market? You have to be able to quantify. So there's a lot of knowledge that's being shared. There's a requirement to have a clear plan that defines the risks expected, the process you will follow, the routine, and how to manage execution. That's what you get as a key component as a professional trader. Finally, is the accountability piece. Now, I know you heard me talk about accountability before, but this really is a big piece. You are beholden to your actions on a day-to-day basis. You are beholden for your actions, it should say, on a day-to-day basis. You have to answer to what you've done. So that, you know, that FOMO trade where you just missed your entry, so you jumped in the middle of a move, and then that happened to go for you for 3 ticks and then fall off 16 ticks, you're going to need to explain that, how that fit in your plan, and how this was an error. This is a FOMO error. This is something you need to address and focus on removing. You're accountable for your errors and what you will do about eliminating them. You are under a time constraint in a professional environment to get the confidence necessary to grow. You're given the tools and time, but it's very finite. So you can't sit on a simulator for 3 years. You can't test your ideas for 6 years. There's a lot more accountability in a professional environment. So what is the Trade Right Initiative? Anybody here can do it by themselves, or those of you who are members of Convergent, there's a whole structure behind you participating in this. It's made up of 2 components. The first component is the Trade Right program. We break down this entire process just like we have in prop based on our experience. You're provided with the components necessary to do the work it takes to become a professional. Remember, I'm quoting do the work here. This is a piece that most people don't want to participate in, or more likely, because I believe people do want to do the work, most people don't know that it's something they need to handle, right? So we break down what pieces are required to do that. This is not a course. It is a process that also includes educational material to help you standardize your knowledge. We want you to standardize your abbreviations, the terms that are being used, the way you understand the market, the way you understand order flow, the way you understand the auction, the volume profile, whatever it is. We want to make a standard thing. So that's all part of the Trade Right program. Some of these include an accountability partner service. So we have a partner listing service where you can participate in or select a partner that you will be accountable for. You also have a new accountability journal that was created that you can participate in, where it standardizes what information you're inputting on a daily basis and how you track your process, rating each day's performance in different categories and things like that, so we can see, you can see, and we can see, and your accountability partner can see your progress. We provide many venues to get support through your journey as a trader. So that's the Trade Right program. In addition to that, there's the Trade Right 30-day challenge. Okay, this is like those other challenges that you hear about, but this is the Trade Right 30-day challenge. It starts on Feb 1. We have all the components together, which we're launching next week, to help you ramp up to participate in this program. It starts on February 1 for all Convergent members who wish to participate. Now, you may not be a Convergent member, you may want to drop out at this point, but I'm going to tell you that even though you're not, you may not want to join, even if it's for a month, you still need those components. You're still having to deal with the issue of being a typical trader versus a professional trader, and however you do that is up to you. But starting Feb 1, the 30-day challenge is something you can participate in. And through this process, we want to know who will commit to doing the work, who's going to do the work, right? The prerequisite to this is to complete the Trade Right program. And this is a bunch of steps. Again, this is all included in your membership. This is a bunch of steps you need to follow. You need to make sure you watch the key webinars. You need to make sure you take the Convergent Trader Pledge. You want to make sure that, and so on and so forth. And then the requirements to meet the 30-day challenge is level 1, doing the daily prep and journal for every session traded. So we want to see consistency in your process. Remember, this is one of the key elements of a professional trader's success, is consistency and following the process. Level 2, identify and reduce trading errors, review journal, and set objectives on a consistent basis. And there's a bonus effort or bonus points for those who do the simple drills that we offer to help you align yourself with the market, to help you get over the hang up of taking losses and to kind of line yourself up with the market. Those who complete this are recognized so that others can see you're serious. So you'll get, as a member in your profile, you'll get a badge that says that you have met this challenge. Okay, so moving on and coming to a conclusion here. What is the common resistance to doing the work, to participating or committing to this or any other challenge with regards to trading? Biggest reason, I've seen a lot of this before. I know this stuff. Why should I bother? Why should I bother? I'm not interested. I know what you're talking about. I've been doing this for 12 years. Yeah, but have you attained the level of success that you're after or that you'd imagined? Have you done what you need to do? Meaning, have you done those things that a professional trader has to do in order to exist in a prop environment? Even though you're not a part of a prop environment. Most people, when they think of prop, they think of, hey, I want to be backed. I want to go out and get money. I want to trade a $150,000 account, right? But what good is that if you don't have a process? If you don't know what your issues are, if you don't know what errors you commit, what good is that? It's just you're going to have to reapply for that prop capital again and again and again and again and again. So why not follow the process? Why not break this cycle of just doing the same thing and getting the same results, right? So that's a reason to participate here. I don't have a plan. Am I really ready for this? You don't have to have a detailed plan of what to do. You have to have a process that gets you there. So part of the process is understanding market structure, understanding the components so that you can come up with something simple, a simple plan to start with. The challenge doesn't say you have to make money. That's not what we're after. The challenge says that you're going to follow the process so you have an opportunity to actually make it, right? The edge is going to show up at some point. You aren't sharing a plan or strategy. How is this going to make me money? That's the big one, right? Why am I listening to you? You're not even offering a course. You're not telling me how to make money. So why do I care about this? Here's the thing. How often have you come up with a trade idea that then you went and tested in a simulator, followed all the rules, saw that idea make money in sim? Oof, made 10 grand last month in a focused, disciplined simulator environment. How many of you have gone through that? Be honest. How many have made money on a simulator? Even if the simulator has somewhat realistic fills. Anybody? Has anybody made money on a simulator? Come
Several
on.
times. I've done amazing on sim. I do it every day.
So what happens when you take that same idea, even if you penalize your fills or you add slippage, what happens when you go live? What happens when you go live?
I blow up real accounts.
Right. What happens is somehow that great plan when it gets transferred to real life trading, somehow it all goes down the crapper. It just, and what is this proving? This is proving that, one, assuming you followed some sort of a program in the simulator, and you're just not adding 100 lots in buying a downtrend until it turned or something, assuming you follow a plan, which a lot of people do. A lot of people get on a simulator because it's boring, right? Putting on 1,500 lots and kind of watching it. It's going to get boring after a while. People then move to, okay, here's my plan. I'm going to practice it in a simulator. Oh, this looks like it has a pretty good win rate, has a pretty good expectancy. Then they go live, and there's the performance is nowhere near what they had expected had they continued with the simulator. The difference is this. The difference is the process. The simulator was about doing something and then counting your money, right? Counting your money. The difference in real, so now we know that your plan has somewhat of an edge, right? It probably can be refined. You can probably get a better R rate and see better results. Take a small hit to your win percentage, but overall get a higher expectancy. So it may not be perfect in a simulator, but still, we know you've come in with an edge. You have some sort of an edge in the way you trade the markets. And we know that you're a pretty disciplined person because you followed that simulation plan, even though no money was at stake. Then you go live and it doesn't work. The difference is the process, the accountability, the repetition. That's the difference. The difference is our overall emotional response to what we're doing on a simulator. And that emotional response can only improve, in my opinion, by following and being confident in the process. Here's what I do in the morning. Here's what I do when the market opens. Here's how I take a trade. Here's how I manage a trade. Here's how I close a trade. Here's how I'm supremely 150% confident that if a trade doesn't work, I'm going to close it and take my stop, right? That's really important. And I practice this in real life, and so I have no problem taking a stop. So I will not sabotage myself. And I'm going to repeat this process day in, day out to the point that it becomes muscle memory. And now my brain is free to just look at the market for what it is and trade it for what it is. And what do we call that? What do we call that point where you see the market for what it is and you trade it for what it is? What is it called? You're being in the flow of the market, trading in the zone. That's what it's called. That is stage 4 of competence. It is unconscious competence. It gets to a point where even if you are half drunk, your hands and your mind do the things that you need to do to keep you out of trouble. And that's what we're after, folks. And for that, you have to have a foundation of knowledge, you have to have accountability, you have to have plans, you have to have a process, and so on and so forth. This is the holy grail of trading. This is what this Trade Right initiative is about. Okay? It doesn't talk about you needing to get a certain software. It doesn't talk about you needing to get a certain indicator. It doesn't talk about exactly where you draw a horizontal line or what kind of a fib works, what the golden ratio is. Doesn't talk about any of that, because all of that, believe it or not, is not relevant. It's an important component, but it's not the big piece. So everyone you hear and follow or whatever is going to focus on the technical side of trading, when actually it's this side of trading that needs the work. This is where you're likely to get the most bang for your time. Okay, those of you who stuck around and heard this whole thing through, this is hopefully what you're getting. Making 2021 the year when you finally commit to finally trade right. So why are you waiting? Why wait to see if trading can work for you? What are you waiting for? What must you see happen before you trade right? This is the time is never going to be recovered. It is gone. So how about doing it now? It doesn't matter if you join Convergent Trading and participate with us. It doesn't matter, as long as you understand that this is what it's going to take and you go do it. Doing it with a dedicated group of people whose objective is to develop career professional traders like Convergent is an advantage, but you can do it on your own if you already know what you need to do. But the time is now to do this. Okay, so as soon as you take that, it's like, I want to get fit, but let me catch another Netflix series. It's being in the flow of what's already there, even if it doesn't work. It's just human nature, is easier than to start to move towards doing what's required, to really question what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Just make 2021 the year where you accomplish this. This is what I'm after. This is the legacy that I want to create, okay? The Trade Right Initiative invitation. So for new and returning members, you can join Convergent Trading through January 31st. It's $50 off on the first quarter. It's a month-to-month membership. You can decide to be a member or not. It doesn't matter, but my hope is that as many people as possible come, participate, take part in this, support what we're doing, and then see the results for it. And that's all I had for you. Okay, to get more information, go to ct.pro/trade-right. Go to ct.pro/trade-right. And that's all I had. Are there any questions? We're
There
over our
are.
time a little bit, but are there any questions?
There are. Well, first off, for a number of people who are asking, yes, this is being recorded and you will receive a link once it is posted. Two,
Yeah, it's
number,
always recorded.
it's always, well, as long as the technicals work with us, it's being recorded.
Yeah.
A lot of people are struggling, and I'm not going to read all of them because it's all the general theme. I need a specific course. I need somebody to help me develop my edge. I don't have an edge. I don't have a plan. How is this going to help me from moving from sim to real? And there's numerous questions along these lines that I don't think people are still quite understanding. How is this helping? If this is not a course, if this is not going to give them a plan and everything else, how is this helping them? And that sort of sums up basically all the questions we got today.
Well, the idea here is what I'm aiming to convey here is that we have the components. So there are two levels here. One, you can keep doing this on your own. You can keep watching a trader bite or whatever, and you can figure it out on your own. Hopefully you have a group or somebody that you're accountable to. But really, if you join this, and really it's not that much of a commitment. We keep the cost of Convergent Trading memberships as low as possible. And really, this is not a push to get you to join. This is a push to get you to do something different, to participate. So in terms of, this is not a course, I've been talking for, Convergent's been around for 3 years. Twice a week, we've done a webinar. Every Thursday is a study hall. We're covering understanding market structure, we've covered order flow, we've covered volume profiling, we've covered market playbacks, group mentoring. There's just, I mean, I don't know how many videos there are. There've got to be 1,000 videos there, but they've been organized. The key ones have been organized into key webinars. Many members have seen them and are like, I don't want to see them again, but you should. And it creates the components you need to put the plan together. So what I'm not doing is telling you, okay, now you chop up the onions. The onions have to be 1/2-inch cubes. And now you're going to take the celery and you're going to chop that up into 1/4-inch slices. And then you're going to add exactly a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of pepper. We're not doing that. That's not done. Even in a prop shop, that's not done. Nobody sits there and tells you, here's the exact bar you look for to get long versus short. Stop thinking that somebody has that answer. Nobody has that answer. Nobody has that answer. It takes a while. It's like going to a journeyman carpenter, a master carpenter, and buying their hammer and then just trying to mimic their swing and so on and so forth without understanding the context of what they're doing, and breaking down exactly, people think that you can break down exactly the pieces and prescribe them so that everybody can copy them. That's not it. When you're being trained as a carpenter, you're being taught all the components and you're being taught the contextual parts. I don't use a sledgehammer for a cabinet, and I don't use a ball peen hammer or a small hammer to pound in a fence post. And that's the extent of it. The rest is all about making sure that your tools are there, making sure you're following the process, you're showing up, and you're there from beginning to end of the project. This is what we're talking about. So the information is there, but anybody that's trying to sell you on a specific course of study to make you profitable, how many here have paid for a course that had great marketing material that promised soup to nuts and you'll make money and so forth, and yet you're still going around seeking an answer? Why? Because there is none. There is none. The answer is understanding the material enough, understanding celery and how it tastes, and understanding the effect of pepper and salt and all of those components so that you can put them together into your own recipe. The goal here is to create your own recipe, but you need to learn how to safely handle a knife. You need to learn how to chop. You need to learn, but how much you throw in of each component, each ingredient to make up your wonderful stew, that's up to you. It's up to you. And you get to watch, like on those food networks, you get to watch someone making the stew using their own method. You don't know exactly why they got in at 91.75 short, but you know that they've been talking about seeking a short trade the whole time. It's just that when do they pound that point? When do they pound the mouse to get in? That's something else. So this is, I want to change people's minds as to how this is all done, okay? I put in the link for you guys to get more information, but I'm not trying to avoid the answer here. I'm just being real with you. I have no reason to sugarcoat this, and the intent is to help you get to the point where 2021 does make a difference, and it's you start to really figure out, is this for you, is this not? I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, what you're focusing is on the process, and basically people will develop their own strategies, but first and foremost, you got to focus on the process, if I can sum it up in a couple of sentences.
Right. What else do we have in terms of questions?
CT members are saying, how do we get information about this? If we're already a CT member, where do we go? When is the information going to be released to us?
So CT members, you'll get an email on this probably, I believe, sometime on Monday. This gives you about 2 weeks from Monday to get all the Trade Right program components done. So you'll go and take the Convergent Traders Pledge. You'll go and make sure that you've seen the key webinars. You'll go and do all the pieces so that you're ready for the 30-day challenge on February 1st. Next Thursday, for Convergent members, we'll have Dr. Andrew Menaker for our Mindset Tune-Up session, who's a trader and an expert at dealing with traders. He generally works for hedge funds or large traders and so on, but he's working with us, and we're making him available to members. He's going to come on and talk about obstacles to actually following the plan. So what gets in the way of that? That'll be next Thursday. Hopefully that'll help further set you up to take this challenge, and then we'll fire off the challenge on February 1st and see how everybody's doing. And see, the goal is you're doing this for yourself. The intention here is for you to follow the process for a full 30 days, which is difficult for most people, to consistently do your journal and do your homework on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, we're running out of time, so I'm just going to quickly run through a few of these. One, no one is going to be supervising you and overseeing you unless you have an accountability partner. And some people have asked about the accountability partner. That is something that CT members get when you join. You have the option to post sort of on a board that says, hey, this is what I trade, this is what I do. And I'm looking for someone that I can partner with where we can share information and talk about our trading. So that is how you do it, but FT or others won't be supervising you or monitoring you. People asking about information. This is just one benefit of a CT membership. It's included in your CT membership. There is no extra cost for anybody. And there are a lot of other benefits that you get for being a CT member. And this is just one of them. What else did I get? I've just gotten, and if we don't have your questions answered, I'm sorry, we're running out of time, and I've got a lot of questions here, so I'm just trying to pick them up.
So what that tells me is I didn't do a good job covering what everybody's concerns might be as we went through the material, and that's my fault. But
no, it's not. It's just people can't get their heads around how this is going to help them, to be honest with you. And I can see it even after you've explained it and you gave your analogy and all that. I'm still getting a ton of, I don't understand how this is going to make me money. I don't understand how, is this going to help me quit my day job and become a professional trader? They're still in, are you going to provide me with any things that are going to tell me exactly how to trade? And that's a hard nut to get over, because that's what they're seeing all the time. So
I'll leave with this, because I want to make sure people, every trader here is satisfied that, or gets the point. Your job, your day job, whatever it is, it could be anything from being a partner at a law firm to being a busboy at a restaurant trying to put some money together so you can trade. Whatever it is, there's honor in all of those. When you get assigned someone, when there's a new person that you need to train, do you have them copy every movement you make? Do you have them write emails exactly in the same? Do you take an email that somebody else prepared that you're training, delete what they did, and just type the whole thing out? Or do you give them a template that they have to follow exactly? Or do you help them understand the important components of that email, what the customer's concern is that you're about to email, and have them do it in their own words? Have them think independently, have them create. Is there a specific way to handle a hearing? Other than understanding the rules and the procedures, is there a specific exact way that can guarantee you success for your client as a lawyer? There isn't. There's a flow. There's a process. There's context. There's training and understanding of the whole thing. This is what our school system attempts. This is what your university study attempts to give you to prepare you for the professional world, but they can't tell you exactly how to solve each problem. Each trade and each moment in the market is unique. It's unique. Unless you're a systematic trader, like somebody who's trading in a black box, every moment is unique, and you have to, there's different pieces that come into it. And that's why I believe most people, and I've been around them, most people who trade on a system spend most of their time just tweaking the system, checking the system, and doing these things to the system because they have to adapt it to something that is consistently changing and is consistently random. So it's not like, hey, I'm gonna come in, are you gonna give me an exact plan? Are you gonna watch over me? You're gonna correct me? That would require one-on-one participation. You would have to be someone who's working for me, and I am directly responsible and I'm a direct beneficiary of what you do. This is a very hard thing to do. There's not enough resources to handle 2,000 people needing that sort of attention. So just like you can't have a dedicated teacher to teach you how to be a lawyer in law school, you're provided with the material, the background, the history, the pieces, and you're given many, many examples, and you can go and watch lawyers in court do their thing, but it's not possible to provide the level that maybe others are promising. I'm not sure, but our goal is to get you in line to have the best possible year that you can, and to have you have the components, the base. So there's a webinar on creating a business plan. There's a webinar on trade planning. There's a webinar on risk planning, and so on. Those are strung together to almost resemble a course. They're all part of your membership. There's no additional cost. It's not being pulled aside and sold for $6,000. It's all there. The problem with most people is not the material, it's doing the work, the consistency and the process. And that's what I'm addressing here, and that's what the trade initiative is for, to trade right. Not to trade perfectly, but to trade right, and that requires all the pieces to be in place, okay? So I'll leave you with that. We're over an hour, and I know there are many, many questions. Maybe we'll do a follow-up, I'm not sure, but this is all kicking off, and our goal here, we want to finally fulfill our objective and just watch people make the turn, gain confidence, and really stick with it. We'd love to see more and more people come into trading and actually change their lives by participating in it, okay? Good luck. Thanks, Joda, for moderating.
Sorry, people are asking for clarification. The $249 for the quarterly, is that after the $50 discount?
I believe it's it's $99 a month for the membership, month to month, and there's a reduction of $50, which drops, I think that drops it to $199. I'm not really I don't handle that side, but
Okay.
I believe it's a discount on a quarterly plan, which I think the quarterly plan is $249.
Because when you
there's
go
a discount on that.
Sorry, when you go to add it, it's just coming up as $249. And so they're wondering, how do I get the $50 discount?
If there are questions about that, just write this email down, or go to the contact form on the website. You can write to support@convergenttrading.com, and they'll get back to you. There are people who are aware better, can answer your question better, and we'll get back to you. But I'm not really sure what the discount is. I just handle the trading side of things, okay? Sorry about that. But I do believe it's a discount on the quarterly, but again, I'm not really sure, okay? Good luck, and thanks everybody for joining in. Take care.